So here we are again with another. Not only did I animate this animation sequence, I also modeled, textured, and rigged a character from scratch in one day.
You lie! You lie!
You're probably asking, is this even possible? Can one person do all of this in 24 hours? Let's find out. Hi, my name's Bucket.
Shut up, man!
Bucketboi!
Here we are again, another 24-hour challenge on a different crud now. I learned from the first one. I went too easy on the first one. This one here, my guy. Different levels. For those that didn't tune into the last one, I did a 24-hour challenge where I paired Sora from Kingdom Hearts with Darth Vader from Star Wars. A quick thing, they just clash. I didn't challenge myself. So this time around, I wanted to do something a bit more spectacular, a bit more, like,
You did that in a day?
And as I did last time, I put the suggestion out to you guys. What should my next 24-hour challenge be? And this week, you guys did very well, thank you. I actually like the ones that you gave, or most of them. Some of you think you're funny. You think you're stand-up comedians or something, bro. With that being said, you guys actually did give some good suggestions. Finn the Human versus Gumball. Echo versus Miles Morales. Optimus Prime versus a Gundam. Jack and Dexter versus Ratchet and Clank.
Wow!
Thank you guys. If anyone watching wants to send in some suggestions for the next one, feel free to comment down below or follow me on Instagram. I post my story and then you type it and then I look at it and then I judge you. But the one that won this week, I'm here to put the argument to rest. Bakugo versus Reze. I love that matchup. Even though Bakugo will just get smoked, but it's cool seeing two firebenders doing their thing, you know what I mean? They're not firebenders, I know, bruv. Don't get at me. This one was just perfect. People going off on Twitter with this matchup, people doing their own art renditions of how the fight would end. I had to join in, bro. I had to join in, of course. I'm the fight guy. I will say though, little biased, just because I like Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man's one of my favorite stories right now. My favorite animes. My favorite manga, actually. You know what I'm saying? I haven't watched My Hero like that. I literally watched maybe half of season 1 and the Bridge series. But from what I have seen with Bakugo, it's not on the levels of Reze. I can't lie to you. Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry. If I should watch My Hero, let me know in the comments. I just did not give it a chance. But yeah, that's what I'm doing today. And yeah, I'm going to be making Reze from scratch and the fight scene. So first things first, let's build the model. I went online, gathered some reference. I actually was able to get some of the character sheets.
Yes! Yes!
The main thing I knew I would be modeling is the Bomb Devil head. For the body, because of the time constraint, I used one of my base meshes that I use for my characters, which really cut the workload in half. So yeah, with my reference, I started off with Bomb Devil's head, using a sphere for the base. The design isn't that complex, so a lot of it was just me molding the sphere into the shape of a head and adding the details with a little bit of sculpting, a little bit of the knife tool, and extrusion. And the cool thing was I didn't really need to think about topology. Her helmet is just one color, one shade, so I didn't think about texturing for that. I just wanted to make sure that the form of her head was true to the original reference. The one thing I can go in a little bit of detail of is how I got the little swivel indent, I don't know what to call it, but this part of the design, I separated the sphere into two, made the shape, made the indents, and then with a simple deform modifier, made that thing go a little bit twisty.
What did you say?
I don't know.
Now you know what this modifier does. I don't know what you would apply it to. It's a bit of a use case scenario, but if you're trying to make something twist, this is the modifier for you. After that, boom, we now have her head. For the body, it wasn't too complex because she's humanoid. So I just brought in one of my base templates and modified it so it fits her figure and the additionals, like her arms with the little fuses coming out, her skirt, and the bomb gown. That's such a cool design. When you see this bit in the movie, it's kind of nuts. Now that I made the full body, all that's left is the UV unwrapping, making the layout of the skin for me to paint on for texture painting, which That didn't even take that long to do because the outfit isn't that complicated. The only thing that really required a bit more detail was the torso. I also did a shadow pass for the helmet and the body, just so that I had some hard shadows that don't react to the scene lighting. And boom, the last thing was the bucket shader, of course. Of course I'm using the bucket shader. It just works. Now we have Reze as a model. Let's move on to rigging. Auto Rig Pro, which is an add-on for Blender. Normally for my personal projects, this is what I do. If it's for a bigger scale studio project, I might use ARP with some modifications, but it's always good to get a custom rig built by someone that knows how to rig. But that ain't me, so let's use this add-on. So how it works is pretty simple. You select your mesh, then go over to this panel over here for Auto Rig Pro, and it will ask you to make the thing. You click the button and then it will give you step by step to put the points of the bones. So you'll have the chin, to the neck, to the shoulders, to the arms, to the hands, like all of that. And then once that's all done, you click this button and then bam, you have the base reference bones for your rig. You may have to do a little bit of tweaking. Some stuff may not have planted dependent on your model, but with this one, it went very well. So I just click the button and now I have a control rig. Boom. This is a paid add-on. There are other alternatives to getting auto rig stuff going for your models, but this is the one that I primarily use, and I've been using it for years. So yeah, really good tool if you just want to jump in and get animated. But yeah, that's how I rig my characters, bro. Anyway, back to the challenge at hand. I had to do Bakugo. I was not gonna model Bakugo, so I came across a little model from Jump Force. How I found it, I don't know. It was just there. That was a bit harder to use with Auto Rig Pro just because of the amount of topology. A lot of the stuff was split into different items, and I don't understand why games do it. But I cleaned up the model a little bit, made sure that it wasn't tris and it was quads, and did Auto Rig Pro. And yeah, now we have Bakugo. Let's move on to our planning and preparation and start to grease pencil, you know what I mean? Start sketching out what I want to do. So now we have our characters. We have the plan. Now it's just execute. With this type of style, I locked all the characters to the camera. Why? So I didn't have to think about where everything is in 3D. I go into these type of projects or any of my action projects with a 2D mindset. The idea is to think of it like it's on a piece of paper and you're drawing it out, but instead of using a pen or a pencil, you're puppeting. So it's closer to stop motion than anything, but with a 2D mindset. Remember that, 2D mindset. So everything that I laid down in my 2D pass, with all the buildings swooshing past the camera, the characters flying across, I can do that without disrupting any of the animation or choreography you've made to this point. I now have the option to either move my camera for speed or move my background without touching the characters. That is the key to this style. Think 2D. When I look back, if I do see a pose that looks kind of weird and off, I kind of keep it in sometimes just because imperfections. We must remove any automation from the computer as possible. As much of it. Get rid of it. Control it by hand. I say this from experience because I'm someone that used to just work straight ahead and work with spline. But being able to do your first pass in constant really unlocks a lot more creativity because you have the control over the movement. This is the place where you can plan all those things. And then, once you have that laid out, if you want to switch to Bezier, linear, do your thing. But I will highly suggest to start with constant. So it's just rinse and repeat. I start off with Reze, then I move on to Bakugo, and then I go back and forth and clean it up. Now all that's left is the look dev, compositing, and effects. But man's not mapper, all right? And I only got 24 hours, so what I did, extrude some cubes, yeah? Project window images on those cubes, put it on a plane, scatter them using the scatter modifier that has been added to Blender 5. Doing a little mask pass so that I have like a path for my characters to go through and not collide into the buildings. For visual effects, again, I used grease pencil, and even though I primarily do 3D, I love 2D, and I really want to get good at 2D effects. So this method is kind of like a perfect blend of the two because I'm able to draw and make that drawing into a mesh and then add textures and project things and make it glow and make it explode. So yeah, primarily I used it for the fire and explosions. The only thing that came to my realization when doing this is that I need to upgrade my smoke effects. I used to have it down. I used to be able to draw them. My drawing skills have depleted over the years, so I really relied on the fill brush with grease pencil just to draw out the silhouettes of the smoke, added a blur to it, and yeah, turned on the light option so that the 3D lights would affect the grease pencil. And I think it worked. I think it worked for a 24-hour challenge. We have impacts, we have smoke, we have dust, the things that happen when you collide against concrete. We're done. We render everything out. We put it into DaVinci. I do a couple little tweaks in there as well. After that, send it off to my brother Chris, bro. I sent it to my brother Chris to do some sound this time. But yeah, here we go. The moment we've all been waiting for. Bakugo versus Reze. Boom! No pun intended. It's done. 24 hours though, I'll be honest with you. I got to the finished animation stage. So technically,
You lose! Good day, sir!
under 24 hours still, but over the span of 2 days, if you get what I'm saying, schedules, you know what I mean?
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
But on reflection, I really enjoyed this one. This one was way more challenging than the last. I would even say I might have overestimated this time what I could do within the time span. I don't know what I'm going to do for the next one. And that's where you guys come in. You guys, let me know what you think first and foremost. What do you think of this one? Did you enjoy it? Am I right to say that Reze will smoke Bakugo? What do you think of the sound? Again, shout out Chris. Ugh. And what would you like to see next, please?
Please! No!
Comment down below. You already know the deal. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe, watch my other videos, like, comment, all them things. This project was powered by the Bucket Shader. If you want it, it's available on my Gumroad. I'm also uploading the Reze model if you want to check it out for yourselves. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I will see you in the next one coming out next week. Yeah, I'm gonna try to do weekly now, bro. 2026 is different, bro. Must be lacking. It ain't happening, no.